Alright, so for this lecture, I'll teach you the basics of animating in After Effects. So just like the previous lecture, download the project file, extract it in your computer, go inside, then if you're using the latest Adobe After Effects, click this. If you're using a previous version of Adobe After Effects Creative Cloud, use this. Alright, so when you open the After Effects file, it should look like this. Okay. Alright, so now let's go to the lecture proper. Just to recap, we learned from the previous lecture about first, position, rotation, scale, opacity, or transparency. Okay, so in order to open those elements or to open those properties, you click on a layer, press P, it opens position. If you press R, it opens rotation. If you press S, it opens scale. If you press T, it opens opacity. Now, to open two properties at the same time, you hold Shift and press the property. So Shift P for position, Shift R, Shift S for scale. To close it, same, Shift plus property, P, R, S, T. Alright? So animating in After Effects, what's important is this. Let's say I pressed P. You see this stopwatch icon here? That means you can toggle on and animate that property. Alright? So I'll show you later as we move along. Okay, so to animate an object, what you need to do is to have two keyframes on a different time with different value. So to explain that, I'll just do a demo of how to animate in After Effects. Okay, so here's what we'll do. In order to move the box, what we need is position. So in 1P, meaning this box, I'll press P in the keyboard. So it opens position. This stopwatch beside the word position, it's called the auto keyframe function. If you click on it, it turns on the auto keyframe system in After Effects. The scrubber indicates where it adds the keyframe. So whenever you click this box, it adds the first keyframe. So what I'll do is, I'll put this scrubber in 0, click on the stopwatch, so it adds a keyframe for that certain value, for this value. Now, I'll move the scrubber in 1 second, and what I'll do is simply change the value or drag the box on top. I'm holding shift so that it moves in constraint, and then I'll just push it up and it adds another keyframe for you. So what it means is if you scrub the scrubber, it has an animation. Alright? So don't mind the quality of animation yet. Let's just make it move. So for this lecture, we'll just learn about adding keyframes. Those keyframes, you can also move it along the timeline. So for example, I want the movement of the box to be faster. So what I'll do is I'll highlight this keyframe and move it to the left so that it only takes half a second for it to move up. So it's faster. If I want it slower, I'll bring it back to 1 second. So it's slower. Again, faster, slower. Okay? You can also move it further so that it takes more time for it to reach the top. So I'll just bring it back to 1 second because I just want it to 1 second. Now, again, the instructions tells us to bring it back to its original place. So what I'll do is I'll move the scrubber again in 2 seconds and I'll just bring it back down to its original place. Right now, we have something like this. Moving up and moving down. Okay? I'll just delete this keyframe. So now, what if we want to have the same value from our first keyframe? All you have to do is highlight it, place the scrubber on the time that you want, Control C, Control V. That means copy and paste. So what it will do is it will copy the selected keyframe and place it where the scrubber is located in the timeline. So again, copy, place the scrubber where you want it to paste, Control V to paste on that certain part of the timeline. So now, we have the same value for the first and the second. So now, what if I want to hold the box on top before it goes down again? So what we'll do is, we need to have the same keyframe running on a certain timeline to hold. So what I'll do is, I'll just place the scrubber, let's say in 2 seconds. I'll click on the diamond here. So what it will do is, it will add a keyframe with the same value from a previous keyframe. Alright? So meaning this too has the same value. So what it will do is it will move up. then it will hold since they have the same value. And then in 3 seconds, I'll just copy this keyframe, paste it here, so it moves up, hold, and then moves down. Alright, so we're done with 1P. So let's say we want to hide the keyframes for 1P. You click on that layer, you press U as in uniform in your keyboard, so it hides it. U also shows all the properties with keyframes. So that's the shortcut for show and hide keyframes. Alright, so let's go to R. So what it asks is to push it back to the table. So meaning we need to rotate this box back to the table. Alright, so what we'll do first is we need to change the anchor point to this area so that it rotates in this axis. So what we'll do is press Y on our keyboard, click on snapping, so move the crosshair on this area, uncheck snapping, then I'll go back to my selection tool. Now, I'll click on 2R or the layer 2R, press R on your keyboard to open rotation. Then what I'll do is same with position, I'll click on the stopwatch for 0, then in 1 second, I'll rotate it back to the table. So -45. So now we'll have something like this. Alright? So again, in order to have an animation, you need to have 2 keyframes with 2 different values on 2 different time. Alright? So 0, 1 second. Alright, so next let's go to number 3. Again, I'll hide the keyframes for this, so U to hide. I'll go to number 3, click on S to open scale. So I can't see the block box, can you make it move forward? Alright, so we need to scale up the box so it looks like it's moving forward. So what I'll do is, I'll click on the stopwatch for scale. So to open scale, just click on S, click on the stopwatch, then I'll place the scrubber in 1 second, change the value of the scale to the same size as seen on the right. And then right now, you see that it's pixelated, right? What I'll do is I'll click on this button here to continuously rasterize that box. So meaning it will scale up so it looks like it's moving forward. Okay? Lastly, we'll do number 4. So I'll hide scale again, press U to hide. I'll go to 40, press T for opacity, and what I'll do is stopwatch for 0, 100, go to 1 second, make opacity 0 to make it disappear. So right now, you have something like this. Alright, so now let's open the other composition in the project. So number 2, multiple animated properties in one layer. So double click to open, and then you'll see this. Alright, so all you have to do is just follow the movement of the dotted square. So in After Effects, you can also animate 2 or more properties at the same time. So how to do that? You just simply have to do this. So first, let's try to follow the movement of the dotted square. So what I'll do is I'll place this here, follow the red, and then next, I'll assess what properties I need in order to follow this. So first, I need the box to move. So I'll open position to do that. Next, in this area, the box is bigger. So Shift S to open scale. Now, the rotation of the box is different here. So I'll open R for rotation. So now I have position, scale, and rotation in order to follow this. So first, what I'll do is I'll add the stopwatch for everything in 0. So it captures this value. Next, in 1 second, I'll place this box here. Then rotate the box in this angle. Then scale the box. And then I'll just follow everything that's in the instructions. Okay. So right now we have something like this. So don't mind first the curve, just let it be right now. And then on the second instruction or the last instruction, I'll move the scrubber to the 2-second mark. Move the box here. Rotate it further so that it becomes 90 degrees. Or just type in 90 if you want it exact. Then scale it up to this value. Alright. So right now we have something like this, right? So right now it follows the shape, but it doesn't follow the path. So what if you want to follow the path? So all you have to do is click on pen tool and then choose position. On the points, click and drag to curve the path. And then, you see this handle here? Just drag it to follow the path. And then when you press play, it's now moving on a curve. And that's it. So try working on this on your own using the project file that I uploaded. Alright, so some buttons to consider. Let's say you want to loop this part only. All you have to do is adjust the work area bar. So to adjust the work area bar, place the scrubber where you want the loop to end and press N on your keyboard. So what it does is it will move the end of the work area bar to where the scrubber is. If you press B, it moves the start of the work area bar. So let's say I want to loop this part only. Now if I press play, it will only loop this part. Also, remember the motion blur button indicated in the layer properties lecture? If you click on it, After Effects will automatically create the motion blur for you, alright? So again, don't think about the timing first, just familiarize yourself with creating keyframes and creating animation. And then once you're ready, just click on the next slide.